Well, SUVs are big business in India at the moment, and sales have nearly doubled in the last 5 years, and now Isuzu wants to get in this SUV ring with the all-new MUX. Well, this car starts at about 24 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi for the base 4x2 version, and the 4x4 costs you about 2 lakhs more.
Based on the D-Max V-Cross platform, the MUX replaces the aging MU7, and it gets a brownier appearance than the outgoing MU7. With its muscular design, it is assured that the MUX will give a great road presence. On the face, it gets dual slat chrome grille, projector headlamps with daytime running lights, and from the rear, the wraparound tail lamps make it more stylish. Features like hill start assist, traction control, and electronic stability control comes as standard. The Isuzu's new flagship SUV is powered by a 3-liter turbo-diesel engine that makes 175 bhp of power with 380 Nm of peak torque. Isuzu claims that the MUX will return a fuel efficiency of 13.8 km per litre.
Essentially, it is a rival for the Ford Endeavour as well as the Toyota Fortuner, but are the interiors as good as those two cars? We'll find out on the show today. The drive, of course, we'll do much later. Well, so here I'm inside the cabin of the MUX. Now, quality really is very good. It is comparable with the Toyota Fortuner, but yes, the Ford Endeavour is still slightly ahead overall in terms of build quality. The plastics are of good materials. The overall center console will remind you of the Nissan Micra as well as the Nissan Sun if you've ever been inside those cars, because it has a very circular theme about itself over here. For the AC controls, you get this huge touchscreen for the infotainment system like most cars do in this segment, and you also get 2 glove boxes, but to be honest, they aren't really very big, so they are quite okay. But if you are somebody who carries a lot of knickknacks, you can always put them in the big armrest over here. You can also put in those beverages over here, and the door bins are large enough for those big 1-liter bottles. Well, the seat comfort is pretty good. You of course get electrically adjustable seats, which means that the taller passengers will find a nice and comfortable position without any fuss. You also get steering wheel adjustment, but unfortunately it's not for reach, it's only for rake, so that's a bit of a surprise. But the good point is that these seats can be adjusted electrically, which is a very good thing, and the seats themselves are very good in terms of comfort. The support for the lower back is excellent, and the bolstering also is very good. The seat scob also is long as well as wide, which means that even those long journeys should not be very tiring. Now let's jump in the back seat and find out if it is a roomy place to be as well.
The MUX not only welcomes you with its posh interior, but also boasts of features that includes 7-inch infotainment system, push-button start-stop, and to make journeys more lively, you get roof-mounted sound system with live surround sound, automatic climate control, and lot more.
Well, so the back seat of the MUX is as good as the Ford Endeavour in terms of space as well as overall cushioning, and you also get these huge windows, which means that you get a very good view of the outside, and the floor panel here is really very flattish. There is a bit of a floor panel, but it's not too high, which means that whoever's sitting in the middle has decent place over here to keep his feet. But that said, as you can see, headroom is just about okay for someone who is my height, which for reference is 5'10". So if you are someone who is about 6'1" or 6'2", and you really do prefer sitting up straight, your hair just might brush with the roof over here, but that's quite okay, because most other rivals in this segment offer you similar levels of headroom. Knee room is pretty good, and there is place below the front seats where I can stretch my feet. So overall, a decent place. Is it the best in its class? We'll of course have to do a comparison review with the other rivals and find out. Well, Isuzu has loaded this car with a lot of features, and one of the best features of course is this nice little screen over here for the occupants at the back. And what this means is that even on the longest of long journeys, you will not be bored inside the cabin of this car. Well, but if you of course prefer to be chauffeur driven all day long, you get your own AC vents. You also get your own armrest over here, which also gets a couple of small beverage holders. So overall, it is a good place to be in the second row of seats. Well, the good point about the MUX's second row is the fact that the doors open nice and wide, but unfortunately, the entry point, the aperture, isn't really very big. So if you are someone who doesn't really enjoy climbing up into a car, you might struggle with the limited aperture space over here. Well, so I'm in the last row of the MUX's seats, and unfortunately these seats aren't as good as either the Toyota Innova or the Ford Endeavour. Why do I say that? Well, because there is a huge lump over here in the floor panel, which means that I have to awkwardly position my feet if I need to be comfortable. And even then, as you can see, headroom really is at a premium. If you are someone who's about 6 foot or maybe even 5'11", you will really struggle for sheer headroom over here, and knee room also isn't the best. Now the front seat's backrest can be moved for incline, but the seat scob cannot be moved either forward or back, unlike its other rivals, which is a bit of a shame, because otherwise I would have definitely had a little more leg room and knee room, especially at the back. So for 5 people this car is okay, but of course if you want to travel with 7 on board, you will have to put in your kids in the back seat, because older adults will really struggle for sheer knee room. Well, so in terms of the boot space, this car is comparable to both the Toyota Fortuner as well as the Ford Endeavour, but the only negative is that it is really high up from the ground, which means that you will really have to put your back when you have to load this car. Well, of course, if you want to improve the boot area, you can always drop down the rear seats by simply pulling this little rail over here. And even though it's not a very flat area, you have a bit of a hump from the seats. It is a pretty decent area to load your odds and ends. The best part is you get your own 12-volt socket at the back, which means whoever sitting in the last row of seats has always got a place to juice up his cell phone as well as those tablets.